Sometimes folks ask RB's Toy Box, is there anything I can get into for collecting that's not going to break the bank? You see, in my motto, you've got the mindset of you collect whatever makes you happy. But if you want to try to branch out a little bit and look at some cool things you can get into, today on RB's Toy Box, I'm going to show you something you can get into that's really cool to collect. It doesn't break the bank. Stay tuned. So today here on RB's Toy Box, we're going to be taking a look at something that you can collect, that you can personalize to your own taste, but yet not break the bank. And that is the 35mm preview reels. Now with my Star Trek collection, I have acquired a copy of every preview for the video, or for the movies, and that goes through all 10 films. Legitimate films, let's just be honest. I'm not into the new stuff. But with these, you get these wonderful little 35mm preview reels. This is for Star Trek 4. And depending on the vendor that you get them from, sometimes these are people that used to own a movie theater. Maybe they used to work at a movie theater. Maybe they're just extra stuff that somebody came along in a sale or something, but these would have been reels that were played, obviously, before a movie started. And granted, you can't really play them, but they still have some value, you know. So, well, what's the value? And the value's to you, because this is something that you can own that's just not some DVD. It's not just some VHS. It's not just some even Betamax version, which is cool, and I have a copy of that for all the movies as well. But it's something that you can almost own what you would consider a piece of movie magic. I mean, this is back, you know, in the days where this was the only way that you could watch movies, right? Is to go to the theater and get it on that 35mm roll. And these are just wonderful things to collect. And again, I have copies of these for some of my favorite movies. This one's from Star Trek 3. And we're going to look at this a little bit closer. Welcome to the retro room, all the way in the back and on the floor. This is where the shelf is, where I store the different 35mm that are not Star Trek back here in the toy box. Now, I have a variety of different, especially 80s and early 90s movies, and there's even one in here where they come out with doing it old school with the Expendables. But I've got quite a few in here that were what I considered some of my favorite movies when I was growing up, and those are the ones that I kind of went after. Now, just like anything else I mentioned, you can get into this on the cheap. Now, there's some things that you got to do. Number one, if you go out there and you try to find, you know, Star Wars or even some of the Star Trek movies, you're going to pay pretty good money. If you get a movie out there that's like, you know, Gone with the Wind or The Sound of Music or something like that, the older they get and the more popular they were, as well as the more limited numbers are still out there and available, the more expensive it's going to be. And it's that way with any collectible, right? But these were out there enough in movie theaters and now in people's private collections and or storage buildings that they want to unload them. And that's what happened with me. So I was looking for, when I was completing my Star Trek collection of all the different movie versions that I have, which I've got Laserdisc and CED and Betamax and UMDs and all of that stuff, but I wanted a 35mm copy of the preview reels for all of them. In the course of doing that, I had to buy batches, or lots, L-O-T, lot. So with that, I would buy a box that had 2 or 3 of these others in it and one of my Star Trek movie ones that I was looking for. Then I got a hold of a couple of eBay vendors that had come across mom and dad's collection, or it was just in storage because he used to work at a movie theater, or in one case this guy, his parents owned one, and his whole garage was filled with these things. That's also one of the things that you want to look for on eBay. Right click on the vendor and look at what else that they have. If they just have one of these and then they've got a bunch of other stuff, they're going to think that this thing is worth $1,000. But if you find a vendor that's got, 100 or 300 or 500 of these, he wants to unload them. And for many of them, he doesn't care what their value is. And you can pick these things up for like $5 or $6 a piece. Now that's cheap for getting something that's vintage, personalized, because you're going to probably go towards the ones that are your favorites, right? And it allows you to be able to build a cool collection. Now, display-wise, you can do what I did. These are just little plastic boxes here that you picked up from a food vendor. Then I made the movie poster and this kind of on a regular laser jet. And then you put it in the plastic box, and then you put the cover on it, if you will. That's one way that you can do it. And then you can stack them up in a corner like RB's Toy Box has, just like that. Now, I have seen some others that have taken almost like a plexiglass box and they've put the movie poster back behind it and hang them up on the wall that way. That's a great way to do it. So there's just several different things that you can do to display your cool collection. And I mean, it's one of those things that when somebody comes over, if you got Mario stuff and you got, different things like that, that's cool and all, but who's got 35 millimeter showcases, right? Not many. And I mean, that's one of the little things that, again, you can get in now before these things become so scarce that they do start going up in price. You can get in on this now while they're still affordable, and still allows you to personalize them and then display them in a way that makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what collecting is about. I get it, there's people out there for doing it for profit. RB's Toy Box isn't one of them. When I drop dead, my kids probably are going to sell all this stuff. Maybe they'll sell it in a lot dirt cheap. I won't know, and I really won't care. I get this because it makes me happy. And I like to show off my collection to you wonderful folks out there, which, by the way, we're growing. Thank you to everyone in the last 3 or 4 months that has liked and shared and subscribed to RB's Toy Box. We're over to like 700 subscribers now. It's just absolutely wonderful. And we've got quite a few things. I have not produced a video in a little while. My health just kind of goes up and down, as you probably know by watching some of my videos. But I have acquired some things here recently, like this cool Wizard of the Oz collection. This is one of those numbered pieces. And I have a video showcase that I'm going to be doing here soon, where I'm going to be explaining the numbered series system, what that really means for a collector, and does it really mean anything for a collector, because there's some things out there. I'm not going to let all the bag completely out, but I'm going to let you know that sometimes the fact that it's got a number means absolutely nothing. Zero. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about here on RB's Toy Box. You stay tuned. Hey, make sure you're staying tuned to RB's Toy Box. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out these cool videos. Who does that anymore?